Welcome to Bitcoin Live on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. Today's Saturday. Sorry. Usually we do it on Sunday, so I'm a little bit confused, but it is Saturday today. Welcome to the show. With me is Andy from Citadel Wallet. Welcome to the show, Andy.
Great to be here, Nick. Thanks a lot for inviting. We've been trying to plan this for a while. I'm really happy it's happening and ready for a conversation.
Yeah, me too. My brother, who's not here, is a huge fan of HBAR. He also always talks to me about how fast it is, how well it does everything. So when he sort of came across you guys from Citadel Wallet, he said like, we need to get them on the show. And here you are. So yeah, before we dive into that story, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with crypto?
Yeah, it's a long story. I have said it many times, but I'll repeat it again for your listeners as well. My journey in crypto started around 2017 when crypto markets were really popular and Bitcoin and Ethereum price were skyrocketing. And obviously, at that time, there was a lot of interest, speculative interest in this markets. Nobody knew what the use cases, what the major use cases or applications are going to be. It was just the speculative aspect of crypto that was attracting so many people. And I was one of them, honestly. That was one of the reasons that I started looking into crypto. But then being an engineer, my background is in electrical engineering. I have a technical background, so I wanted to dive deeper into these technologies and see what the real hype is about them, and see if in the future they can actually have real impact in all kinds of different industries. And that's how I learned about Swirlds, which is which was the private company that had developed the Hashgraph consensus algorithm, which is now at the core of Hedera Network, and Hedera Network is running utilizing that consensus algorithm. That's kind of how my journey started, but I was very fascinated with Hedera's technology, the promise of the network and what it's capable of doing, especially all of the different types of use cases it would be able to provide support for and enhance, make them more efficient, even for enterprise applications. And I just went down the rabbit hole, started learning more about the technology, then got to know a lot about the governing council of Hedera, which is another very big differentiating factor of the network that a lot of other projects are not doing things in a similar way. And it just started from there. And along the way, I really wanted to build something myself because I could see the promise of the network. And that's how Citadel Wallet started. And I started building it around a little more than a year ago, actively building it. And here we are today, having prototypes, testing. It's exciting times.
Yeah, so you brought us to Citadel Wallet. Can you dive into that? Right, what makes it so special? Is it the only wallet that's connected to HBAR, or are there others? And what makes your one stand out from the
Yeah,
rest?
great question. There are other hardware wallets in the market that are just our multi-chain general purpose cryptocurrency hardware wallets that are supporting as many networks as possible, but very limited feature set from each of those networks. So there are hardware wallets out there that are supporting Hedera, but only the native HBAR cryptocurrency. And the limitation I saw with that is because Hedera Network has so many different services and native token NFT services, smart contracts, HCS, which is the consensus service on the network. You can do so much more on this network, and it just didn't make sense that you would add so much limitations to the hardware wallet and keep it only to the native HBAR cryptocurrency transfers. That's why I saw an opportunity that was missing in the market, and I decided to build a wallet that is initially Hedera native, and it can support all of network services rather than just HBAR transfers. Which to me, yeah, it's good enough for investors and holders of the cryptocurrency, but for builders, application users, enterprises, and anybody else who wants to actually engage with the network and interact with the network on a daily basis, utilizing all kinds of different applications. That's just not good enough. And if you want to increase the security and peace of mind of people who are actually bringing value to the network, those are the people who are using the network on a daily basis. You want to provide that next level of security to them so they can do anything they want on the network without worrying about losing their keys or being hacked, or their keys being stolen and their funds being stolen. So currently, I saw you were showing some graphics
Oh yeah. Yep.
to people a little bit of a context. The graphics that you're showing is the card wallet. Card wallet came later on. Initially, we started building the hardware wallet, which is an electronic device. Card wallet came a little later. Yeah, that page is the hardware wallet itself. You can see it's a round, kind of reminds you of a coin because you're going to store a lot of coins in there. That's the idea for the shape of the device came kind of symbolic. But eventually, we also started developing a card wallet, which will be actually multi-chain. The card wallet will be multi-chain. The hardware wallet will support Hedera, and in the very near future, actually also Bitcoin. We want to support Bitcoin as well, and then we'll expand from there.
Well, that's really amazing. And one of the things that sort of I keep forgetting when I look at your site is that it's a hardware wallet, right? Because you can do so many features with this wallet that it almost feels or sounds like a hot wallet.
Yeah, hardware wallet. There's all kinds of different naming. People use different naming for different types of wallets. Hardware wallet. The simple explanation for the hardware wallet. It's an electronic device that has a secure element on the device that handles the key storage and secure signing of all of those transactions associated with the network. But the device itself has a lot of secure features, software or hardware, put in place to make sure that nobody can hack into it and steal your funds. And that device is most of the times it's offline. So you only need to connect it to your desktop computer or mobile device whenever you need to sign a transaction, and you just power off after that. And again, you have the peace of mind that your assets are safe. It's not, your keys are not in your mobile wallet or in your desktop hot wallet, where these devices are online all the time. Even though mobile devices are very advanced and they do have a lot of security features built into it, but since they're online all the time, you just can't trust it, and your people feel paranoid all the time that something is going to happen to their wallets anytime.
Well,
And
paranoia is part of crypto, right?
yeah, and it just affects your psychology. Being in crypto and worrying about losing funds all the time, it's something that crypto hasn't been able to solve that problem yet. And with this device, I do want to make sure that people who use this device, they just completely forget about any concerns, any worries about losing their funds, and really enjoy the ride and really engage with the community and do anything they want without worrying constantly.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of Jameson Loeb, and he always makes the point that you have like different wallets for different things, right? Sometimes you want to create a moat that nobody can sort of enter. That's sort of like your pension fund. But sometimes you also want a wallet that actually, interacts with a lot of stuff in order to, trade or whatever it is that you want to do, stake. But you also want a secure wallet. So it's, a trade-off between all these things. I don't have to tell you, of course.
Yeah.
But so can you tell us a little bit about the security of Citadel Wallet?
Yeah, we have made sure that we set a really high standard for security for our wallet, starting from just developing the hardware architecture of the Citadel Wallet. All the electronic components that we utilize inside this wallet are really cutting-edge technology, starting from the secure element. We're utilizing really high security, highest in the market currently, EAL 6+ certified secure element, which protects not only against software attacks, but also all kinds of physical attacks. There's all kinds of different ways to attack this semiconductor chips. So the secure element is the highest level certified secure element that is going to protect your keys. And then there's also another very important component in hardware wallets is the microcontroller or microprocessor that connects the secure element with the external world, either through USB connection or Bluetooth connection. A lot of the hardware wallets currently in the market are utilizing very generic microcontrollers to serve as a bridge between the secure element and the external world. What we have done, we have elevated the security even of that bridge, and we're utilizing a secure element, a secure microprocessor based on really latest cutting edge M33 micro controller core technology. I'm not sure how much that's going to mean to your listeners, but if anybody is interested, they can Google M33 ARM core based microprocessors. These are new types of microprocessors emerging in the market that are specifically tailored to use cases like this, very security focused, security based applications. And they have also a lot of security features built into the microprocessor on a hardware level, where you're isolating secure applications from non-secure applications. The memory regions are completely separated on a hardware level. And in that way, we're not only making sure that your secure element is protected, but even the communications with the devices that you're pairing with, that's going to be, the security of those communications are going to be elevated as well.
Wow. So, well, this is really amazing, of course, and sort of what you said at the beginning when we just started the conversation. You were also thinking of at some point sort of moving to other cryptos, perhaps even Bitcoin, and then you're gonna use this same kind of knowledge and expertise to sort of build
Yeah.
wallets along those lines for those projects.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. This is going to serve as a foundation, building on Hedera, especially with Hedera having all kinds of different transaction types. It has been a really interesting learning curve for us and for our really talented software development team. And implementing all of these features on Hedera network is going to give us the background and understanding and the experience to be able to adapt other networks as well. And adding new networks, we want to be very careful what networks we add. We are really utility focused. So my primary goal right from the beginning wasn't just adding speculative assets and sell as many hardware wallets as possible. That's more of a short-term goal. My goal is more long-term, where I want to focus on utility and see where that utility leads. And initially, because I'm so involved with Hedera and I have seen all the depth of applications and use cases that have been built on the network, I really see this becoming the general public utility network, and seeing so many applications coming on board in the near future. And that's how we decided to launch with Hedera. But there's a lot of really cool L1s out there that are doing really interesting things and are going to be a part of this decentralized DLT based future. And we would love to pick the ones that are going to survive in the long term and are going to bring real utility and benefits to the users, and also very mindfully add those networks as well, giving full support to those networks, so even users of those networks can benefit fully from interactions with those networks, and they don't have to jump from software wallet to hardware wallet for doing different things. My goal is to make this hardware wallet so user friendly and so seamless and so easy to set up that you don't even need to use a standalone software wallet. You can do everything with the software wallet paired with the hardware wallet, so you're secure all the time.
Wow, that's really awesome. As a wallet maker, I am always curious, what is sort of the attack vector that worries you the most? What's sort of the hardest attack vector to guard against or to protect yourself against?
Yeah, it would be interesting for you to learn. The biggest attack vector is actually not a software attack or a hardware attack. The biggest attack vector is actually social attack, where people hand their private keys themselves to the hackers and the scammers. If you go back and look at all the stories of people losing their funds, most of the time it has been people admit that they were asked to log in somewhere and provide their private key to set up something or change something. They really play with this early people who are just entering the space, and they don't have much knowledge of these keys and what they represent, and they think it's just a password that they're trying to reset or something like that. But most of the biggest attack vector has been the social one, which with hardware wallet, the good thing about the hardware wallet, once you record your seed phrase, store it somewhere, and you don't want to be able to access that seed phrase on a daily basis.
Yeah.
If somebody, when you're using the hardware wallet and somebody's asking you, can you provide your private keys? You cannot, because the hardware wallet will never extract the private keys, and in that way also providing that layer of security. But there is also other types of attacks on hardware wallets, which most of the time hackers need to have the hardware wallet in hand to really be able to attack it in different ways. The chances that they will attack the hardware wallet through some software ways remotely is almost zero. But that's why we're making sure that on the hardware side we're really secure. So even if somebody gets their hands on the hardware wallet itself, it's going to have those protections built into it on a hardware level. So whatever side channel attacks or power glitching or frequency glitching attacks they're trying to do, it's not going to be successful.
Yeah, and of course also with SIM card swaps, right? It's usually somebody calling and pretending to be you and then switching phones, right? So basically people have
there's an interesting concept with hacking stuff. Is usually you need to analyze, you need to kind of analyze how much effort for you it's going to take to hack into, how much effort and money it's going to take to hack in, and when you hack into that device, are you going to gain more than what you have put into, right? And a lot of times, if somebody's spending hours and months of hacking into hardware wallet, then they might not even know what's in the hardware wallet. It might not even be worth it. Most of the time, people don't even try to hack into a hardware wallet unless they know exactly what's in that hardware wallet. And usually, it's people who lost their keys, their PIN to the hardware wallet. They themselves can't access the device. That then they're like, I have $1 million worth Bitcoin in this. You probably heard of those stories. Then they go to some professional hacker and they're telling them, hey, you have all the time you need, all the funds you need, just make sure you can hack into it and recover my funds. And usually hacking into hardware wallets that have been publicly announced have been those kinds of situations.
Yeah, basically it's always a trade-off, right? I mean, it's also, when you live in an apartment or whatever, right? If you're not a big target, you don't have to worry that much of, a burglar coming into your house. So if you're like a small fish, usually you don't have that much to worry about of, a giant hack or something.
Exactly.
We're also talking about HBAR, of course. What I understand from HBAR, and my understanding is sort of limited, but I do sort of know IOTA or IOTA, and they work with the Tangle. And my understanding was always that HBAR has something similar to IOTA, like also the Tangle, only I guess it's called different. Can you tell us a little bit about HBAR and how it works?
Yeah, I have looked into Tangle and IOTA early on. They're also called a DAG, but they do things very differently. And I think they also have some kind of a centralized coordinator that makes sure all the entities come to consensus together at the same time. But that introduces some risk because one entity needs to coordinate all the consensus for all these nodes. With Hedera, that was one of the reasons why I was really interested in Hedera's hashgraph technology, is because the consensus algorithm works in a very unique way. It is a DAG, so it works in parallel rather than blockchain, which works as a chain. You put the chain of blocks, and there's so much you can do to scale that kind of an architecture. You can scale hashgraph architecture almost infinitely giving the fact that you can also shard it into different shards. But Hashgraph consensus algorithm itself, the reason it's so unique is it's because it's asynchronous Byzantine fault tolerant, which means all of the nodes in the network come to consensus simultaneously, and there is no one leader that dictates what the order of transactions should be. So whenever there is a lot of messages being submitted to different nodes of the network, they start just telling each other what the messages are, and then all of the nodes, because of the way the algorithm works, it's virtual voting based. So based on a small information attached to those transactions that are being shared between the nodes, all the nodes are able to come to the same consensus, to the same order of transactions, to the same timestamp on these transactions, which mitigates the risk of being attacking a single node that's dictating the order of the transactions on the network. And a lot of the proof of stake networks today, that's how they operate, and they don't really like to talk about that because it will turn out. First of all, it will attract a lot of hackers' attention, but also users and investors wouldn't like to hear that. With Hedera, it's the only network that is able to achieve consensus without any dictator or leader in the network, and is able to do that so efficiently because of that virtual voting capability. So all of the nodes are handling all of the voting and ordering and timestamping natively to their nodes. And it's miraculous that Lehman Baird was able to find this solution to this distributed architecture problem that existed for a long time. And this is the only consensus algorithm that is ABFT secure today. And Hedera keeps pushing it, keeps trying to get that message out there, but it's a very technical message, and you need to be very careful how you communicate that so people really understand what they're dealing with.
Yeah, so it probably also has a very advanced AI algorithm behind it then. But what you're saying is that it's highly decentralized.
The reason it's decentralized is because you have individual nodes that are ran by big enterprises and big corporations, and those nodes are not even at, like, for example, for Ethereum network, if you look at how many of their proof of stake nodes are in just Amazon Web Services clouds or Google clouds, more than 60% of the nodes are ran in centralized cloud environments. With Hedera, there is even a requirement that you cannot run more than 2 nodes in a single cloud environment. So in that sense, in the infrastructure-wise, it's highly decentralized. It's ran, these nodes are ran by organizations and institutions and companies that are from completely different industries, and sometimes they are even competitors. So you get that when you have competing entities, that's the true decentralization. They don't want to collaborate together. They're building applications that might be competing together. So they don't want to even agree on things together. The only time they will agree on things that's going to benefit both of them, and that's most likely going to benefit everybody else utilizing the network.
Well, that's super cool. And we're also going to sort of touch on the Internet of Things, of course. We sort of already did. But before we do that, you guys also have this really cool NFT series that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Citadel. So I'm going to put it up right here. Guardians of the Citadel. Can you tell us a little bit about the idea behind it and who made these awesome figures?
I was always fascinated by NFTs and all the ways that NFTs can be used to not only be simple collectibles, which is a really fun and engaging use case as well in Web3, and a lot of people are really participating in this NFT collectible projects. Me too, personally, I'm really involved with NFT projects as well in Hedera ecosystem. Like Angry Baboons, Dead Pixels, those are some of the biggest ones. But I was always interested in coming up with other ways to utilize this NFTs as an ownership of something. How cool it would be if the NFT was kind of memorabilia in your collection, but also it represented ownership of something. You can always go back and show it to people that you were really early in supporting a certain project. You were one of the few community members that saw the promise of this project that in the future now has become really big. So the value of this collectibles could also increase over time just because of that factor. But I wanted to make sure, first of all, that this collectible, these NFTs in our collection are really high quality characters, and they're very symbolic. They represent not only the ownership of the wallet, but people actually love the look and how the animation, the quality of these characters, and they have been developed with AAA gaming artists that I have collaborated with. The quality on this is just top notch. I could probably sell these NFTs as is without having the backing of the hardware wallet collection at the price tag that these NFTs came with. But instead, I decided to not add any value to the hardware wallet price. And people who were minting these NFTs, it was more like a thank you to people who were supporting the project so early on, believing in me and the journey that I'm going on. And with this, they can, when the hardware wallet goes to market, they will be able to simply go on the website, log in. We check in their account that they actually own these nights. And that's the cool part about Web3, right? You can really quickly check if they own something without even doing any KYC. I don't need to know who this person is. As long as I see if the NFT is in their account, I have already verified that they own the right to claim the hardware wallet. The process is going to be very simple. Just provide shipping information and your wallet will be shipped out to you. So it's a fun collectible, really high quality character arts, and we'll have more nights coming in the future, adding to this 10K collection, different kind of themes, different kind of attributes and traits, and kind of try to build a whole world around this really unique characters. I really want to have female knight characters as well in the collection in the future. That can be very fun to explore as well. But now people will be able to simply go on our website and claim the hardware wallets when they're ready, and that's the biggest utility currently available for these nights.
Yeah, first of all, like, I love the design. It's really beautiful. It's amazing work. Like you said, purely as an NFT, like visually, they're gorgeous. One more question about it is, what's your dream with these NFTs? Do you want to take them somewhere? You already mentioned the world. Do you want to sort of gamify them at some point, or?
Sure. Yeah, they're going to be part of the Citadel ecosystem forever. And we're going to try to bring as many utilities to these nights as possible. But from the gamification perspective, people are going to be rewarded for supporting the project early on. So whenever we launch a token, when we start selling the wallets, some of the revenue will be flowing back somehow to the holders of the nights. There's a lot of regulatory issues going on regarding that. You need to be very careful how you handle this stuff. And also over time, I'm hoping as the project evolves and as the crypto markets evolve and different jurisdictions start to come up with good regulations that projects can follow and know exactly what they're doing without risking their project, will be able to do those things and bring even more value to the holders of the nights. From the gaming side, I would really love to have these characters as skins for characters in other games. So partnering with big brand games that have similar type of a theme to their game fights or things like that, and have this as skins in those games could be a really fun collaboration. But I don't see myself building a game anytime soon. That's a huge undertaking. But with this Web3 future where everybody can contribute to projects in their own ways, I can see some of the big games kind of open up. and allow people, projects with their communities have built all those communities. Why not bring them an opportunity with their favorite characters? They already love those characters that are part of those smaller projects. Give them an opportunity to enter this worlds of gaming and have their characters as skins in the games and play with those characters. So that could be also really fun utility to these characters in the future.
Sounds terrific. Can't wait. Yeah, so I think you made a lot of people very happy who are listening with that news. But yeah, we also sort of talked about the Internet of Things. Your wallet has, I guess, very special features that sort of allow it to interact with the environment. Is that correct? How do you have to sort of visualize or
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah, for IoT stuff, IoT related stuff, I would say the main and most exciting feature is that we support Hedera network fully, and Hedera is so efficient and so cost effective that we could actually enable devices to be able to communicate to the clouds or to the applications on the user side through Hedera network. So in a lot of use cases, you could even eliminate the needs to use a cloud infrastructure. You could just pass all those messages or data collected from the sensors or wherever that data is coming from through Hedera network in a trusted and immutable way. Then users on their application sites that can directly pull the data from Hedera network, knowing that the data has been verified and is trusted. They're not getting the data from a random place where it can be hacked. So there's a lot of applications that are being enabled through Hedera network, and I'm really excited that we've support all these different features on Hedera network, and we understand the technology and services it can offer, and we're able to also move into the IoT industry, and even well-established IoT projects would be very interested in adding this extra layer of trust and immutability to their IoT devices. And the IoT industry has always suffered from security because you have these tiny devices that control things in your environment, and you want to be you want to make sure, and most of the time they're wirelessly communicated, and you want to make sure that the security is set at a really high standard, so nobody else around you can hack into these devices and send commands to them that could actually be harmful to you and your family if it's a home automation, smart devices, things like that. So security has always been top of mind in IoT industry, and I have been very interested in that industry long before even taking onto the hardware wallet. And that was always in my mind. How can Hedera network with all its capabilities be beneficial to bring even higher level of security to these devices? And that's why I started with the development of the hardware wallet and seeing the actually playing with the capabilities of the Hedera network. We started thinking of different ways we can develop devices or even add these features into existing devices that could enhance the experience and security of them. And we're and the behind the scenes we're kind of working on this stuff, and there's a very exciting and interesting use case for Hedera plus IoT that we're going to explore and actually introduce through the hardware wallet itself. I don't want to say too much about that yet. That's going to be a very interesting use case for Hedera and how you manage these devices through a trusted public network that I think a lot of community members can appreciate. But I think enterprises would be really interested to see how that comes around.
Yeah, because what I liked about IOTA, but from what I understand from you, is that I should be following HBAR instead. Is that it's scaling up so fast, and so it allows for the Internet of Things to actually work, right? Because you need a very fast, adaptive network to make it work.
Exactly.
Where do you see the Internet of Things go? Like, when you look 5 years ahead, what kind of world is that?
It's going to be a really interesting world in 5 years, especially with the advent of AI. I could see this internet because of this large language models are advancing so fast. And when these models are compressed, they can do really magical things. Like you can have terabytes of data data compressed into these language models, and they come out as like 100 megabyte file that has all this knowledge and can start can self-learn, can start taking on tasks without anybody sending them commands, right? So I can see future IoT devices actually have the small brains inside them and actually starting to interact with their owners of those devices and maybe give them suggestions or take on tasks as they think is necessary. So in 5 years, I could see things change a lot in the IoT space. The small device, low power devices could become way more than what they're today, just dumb devices that you connect to and send commands, turn on, turn off, do this, do that. You always have to kind of tell them what needs to be done. But imagine a world where these devices are coming alive and they can handle things depending on what the environment is telling them to do. And also, if they need to make payments, if they subscribe to certain services, that needs to be secured as well. That's where actually something like a DLT could come into play and make sure that all of those payments and all of those subscriptions, token gating, you can do a lot of things with IoT devices. And if you were to use a traditional payment network to handle those microtransactions, those networks would crash. They wouldn't be able to handle the load. With something like Hedera, you can set up multiple different shards dedicated to multiple different applications and use cases. One could be for IoT and really crank transactions for thousands of devices that are connected, that are payment enabled, something like electric car, your charging stations where you need to charge your car, but electricity is very cheap, so you don't need to pay a lot of money, similar to gas, maybe 10 cents, from cents to a dollar every time you're charging. Using something like Visa for those kinds of transactions wouldn't make sense. That's where really the power of Hedera lies.
So the distributed network technology, the ledger.
Yeah.
So, you know, those sort of famous examples, like a refrigerator sort of knows that the milk is almost finished and then sends an order to the store close by to sort of for refill. But I'm sure you sort of are also a sci-fi fan. So if I ask you, you know, what movie comes closest to sort of the world that we're moving to? Sort of what kind of movie encapsulates?
Yeah, I mean, there have been a lot. I haven't watched movies for a long time. I used to be a huge movie fan. To be honest, let me see if a movie comes to. There was that movie, a very futuristic movie, 2049, came out recently, where you know it was the remake of an existing old movie, old classic sci-fi movie. I can't remember the full name, full title of the movie.
You're gonna send me afterwards, and I'll link it down.
Yeah. But in that movie, basically, people have their own robot assistants, and every time you go home, you have your robot waiting for you at home, and they can help you can have a conversation with them. They clean up your house or your environment, and really become a life partner, which is kind of dramatic in the future. I think people will always need to have a human connection with other humans. I don't think robots will be able to replace that fully, but they will. They will replace certain aspects of human interaction that maybe somebody feeling lonely. They might need somebody to talk to. You know, to get out of their shell. So I could see that happening. And then actually another movie that was really interesting.
Blade Runner, by the way, the movie that you meant.
Blade Runner. Yeah, exactly. Blade Runner. Another really interesting movie was it was called Her, where you have your actual partner that is an AI, and that you get to know them, you get to connect them emotionally, and actually become boyfriend, girlfriend. That was a really futuristic movie. I'm not sure if that's possible in the future, but something like I could see something like you mentioned the refrigerator use case. Currently, refrigerators are already smart. There's a camera. You can check if you have milk or this and that. But that's not where AI comes in. Those are just simple tasks. Check if this is there. If not, tell me what to do, what to buy. With AI, it's not just going to tell you, "Hey, buy milk." It's going to tell you, "Hey, you're drinking too much milk. You need to cut down on milk. It's going to increase your cholesterol or this
Yeah.
and that." That's an actual brain that's kind of tracking your habits of eating. You're opening the door too much, you're eating too much, and it's going to actually start telling you, "Hey, you need to get your life together. You're eating too much of this thing that's harmful for you." That could be a real AI enabled refrigerator that kind of comes to life and becomes part of your life, telling you how to become more healthy. So I think things like that I could see happening in the future.
So you become best friends with your refrigerator.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that I always sort of wondered about, maybe you can sort of shine a light on that, is, I think, blockchain, or in this case, HBAR with sharding, and that the AIs need to keep track of things, right, in order to make the right decisions. So for me, blockchain and sharding and all these kind of technologies, the DLT technologies, they sort of allow AI to sort of keep track of the real world, right? Is that like a
Mm.
fair assessment?
Yeah, I mean, AI is combination of everything. It just sucks in all the data from the world and starts making judgments based on the data you fit into the systems. Actually, there's a lot of danger in the systems, because if the data that you fit into them is not quality data, um, it could have really bad outcomes in the future. And historically, with people, uh, uh, people's history in general is not a nice history. There have been a lot of bad things there have been bad people doing bad things in the past, and how you don't know how this data fed into the systems is going to come out on the other side. So I would say blockchains utility blockchains benefit for this kinds of AI use cases, not going to make sure that the data that's fed into the systems is accurate or quality or things like that. But anything that the AI generates, you need to track, and you need to have a verifiable, trusted proof of that this data was generated by AI at this time in this location. So you can always go back and check what happened, why this resulted to this kind of outcome on the AI side. And there's going to be a lot of issues with copyright. People are going to generate art and a script and data and content that you don't know if it was copyrighted, if it's stolen from somebody else, because it wasn't directly stolen from them, but somebody said in front of the AI chat box and typed something, "I want to create this thing," and AI from all the data it has spit it out something. Now you want to make sure that there's standards put in place to log all of this creations to something like a Hedera network, where every time it's created, you can go back and check if this is an AI generated content or not, because the user could get that whatever was created and start using in their business, in their creation, and not even think that this is a copyright violation. If you go to them and say, "Hey, this is a copyright violation. Where did you get this content or information?" They can point you to that data, or you can even check from whatever they have on the AI network or whatever. If there's some kind of an explorer, you can check and verify if this has been generated by the AI. But again, you need to have some kind of a network that tracks all this information and provides verified proof of immutable proof. Otherwise, if it's sitting in the centralized database, somebody could go back and tweak it and change things and make it look like it's not generated by the AI.
So that's where you think blockchain and AI intersect.
Yeah, I think blockchains are going to be inseparable part of AI in the future, and that's going to be one. It's really interesting that these two things are happening at the same time, and eventually they have to converge. Otherwise, AI could go bonkers, and nobody will be able to. Uh, the reality will be changed. You wouldn't know what to believe, what not to believe, but we need to be able to differentiate between AI generated content and human generated content.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So
Mhm.
thank you for elucidating that. So we touched upon many different aspects. Is there anything that we missed? Is there anything that you want to highlight? Is there any projects that you are working on personally?
Citadel Wallet currently is the biggest project that I'm working on. It honestly is taking a lot of my time, and I used to be way more active on social media through my HBAR to the Moon account, and just promoting Hedera, highlighting all of the use cases, and giving insights into all the announcements and projects that have been launching on Hedera. I'm trying to keep up and do all of that as much as possible, but my main focus right now is to make sure that I complete the developments with the team I'm working with. Headstarter and Builder Labs are the software team behind the hardware wallet. They have been doing an amazing job at building a really high security software architecture and firmware for the device, and developments have been going amazing. And I handle most of the hardware side of things, electronics, mechanicals, certification tests, supply chain, manufacturing partners, things like that. I've been mostly focused on that end of things, and I'm really confident that in the very near future we'll be able to put a bow on this thing and get it to market. Of course, developments are going to continue. We're going to add more networks and more features to the hardware wallet, but we want to get it to the stage where it's ready to go to market. People can get their hands on the wallet and start using it and benefit from all of the security and user friendliness features that come with it. But yeah, that's my main focus. And other thing I would say, just for the overall crypto ecosystem, because I'm so dived into Hedera, I'm really impressed by Bitcoin's performance recently. It really speaks volume to the Bitcoin community and what Bitcoin as an ideology was able to achieve in this 19 years of I guess 15 years of existence. It's not easy. It's almost impossible to take on to existing financial infrastructures and existing ideologies and ways of doing things. And doing that during just 15 years, it just seems mind blowing to me. And Bitcoin is going to lead the crypto adoption moving into the future. I'm really confident at this point that Bitcoin is going to really win in the long term, and a lot of people are going to benefit from it because it really becomes that store of value that people are looking for, especially with all the distrust to existing financial infrastructures, banks, a lot of countries having issues with their currencies, inflation, all kinds of different economic problems, wars, but even COVID. But going through all of this and coming out on the other end really strong, like we see today, it really speaks volume to the Bitcoin community. And I think Bitcoin is always going to have its place in crypto and be that store of value that people can always rely on. And then on the other hand, Hedera is that public general purpose DLT network that is highly programmable, efficient, and cost effective that people can use for all kinds of other applications. Really cool, fun, gaming, enterprise, IoT applications to benefit from that distributed trust that brings to the table. So Bitcoin is the store of value, and Hedera, I think, is going to be the trust layer of the internet. And you need both of them to coexist together for a real successful mass adoption in the future.
True, different tools for different jobs.
Yeah.
And if I hear you speak, I guess you are very positive about the coming bull run, right? We're in the bull run already.
Very excited. Very excited. Actually, I'm really glad that I started building the hardware wallet during the bear market. Less noise. I can just dive into it and get it done. Obviously, with the excitement, with the bull run coming, with the excitement coming, there's a lot of distractions that come with that. Oh, I could do this. I could do that. Your mind is more scattered in that kind of an environment. So I'm really glad that during the bear market, we got almost 90+% of the hardware wallet development completed. We're approaching the last mile, getting there, and I think it's going to be synchronized with the coming of the bull market really nicely. It's going to be timed really nicely, and I can't wait for crypto in general to finally succeed and get it to the masses.
And maybe sort of one final point is, the Citadel Wallet is also connected to staking and DeFi, and sort of ties into the bull market. Like,
Yeah.
can you sort of tell us a little bit about the staking element and how HBAR and the Citadel Wallet sort of connect to that front?
Yeah, there's different ways you can stake on Hedera network. There is the DeFi platform, something like Saucer Swap, where you can go and use a smart contract to stake or provide liquidity to different pools of tokens and HBAR. And then there is the native staking of Hedera network, which doesn't require any smart contracts. There is just a single transaction that you need to sign on Hedera network and delegate your the HBARs that you hold to a certain node on the Hedera network. And in that way, you start just accumulating rewards from the network without locking your HBARs into a smart contract. You can move them around whenever you want to. So it's a very secure, safe way to earn rewards on the HBARs that you're holding. And we're going to support the smart contract based DeFi use cases, whether it's staking or providing liquidity or swapping or trading, and the native staking of Hedera network as well. We're working on the smart contracts, currently finalizing that service support for our wallet, but native staking we've been already supporting, and we're currently going through some beta tests with community members, and they have been able to easily stake to certain nodes on Hedera network to verify that that functionality already works.
Well, that is very useful knowledge with the coming bull run. Of course, this is not investment advice, not financial advice. Always do your own research. But it's really nice to see that people are building and creating these wonderful products. And I'm very excited about the wallet and the amazing features that has, and especially its security. And we would love to have you back on the show in the future if that's cool with you.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks a lot for having me. I had a great conversation, great time talking to you. And yeah, once we launch the wallet, I would love to come back, provide more updates where in terms of roadmap, where we're headed after that. But really excited with everything that's coming, and would love to talk to you again in the future.
Yeah, we would love that. And with that positive note, we'll end the show. Thank you for being here and for everybody watching, and we hope to see you soon. Take care.
See you, everyone. Bye.